Hello students, today in this video we will learn about lesson 2. We are not afraid to die if we can all be together. It is written by Gordon Cook and Alan East. This lesson is autobiographical in nature as it describes the sea voyage which was undertaken by the author and his family. Generally, failures are left unmentioned, but the indomitable courage, love displayed by the Cook family in their bold adventure, which we will come to know in this lesson, has made their voyage very special. About the writers, Gordon Cook, he was born on December 3, 1978 in Toronto. He is a two-time Canadian Olympic sailor and sails for the Royal Canadian Yacht Club. His co-author, Alan East, he was admitted to the role of solicitor in 2003 and has obtained extensive experience as a litigator, manager, and legal trainer. In 2010, Allen joined Coventry University as a senior lecturer on law. About the lesson, in the beginning, as I told you, this lesson is the personal account of the author's sea voyage. So, he himself is narrating that experience to the readers. The narrator, who is the author himself, a 37-year-old businessman, and his wife Mary, both of them dreamt to voyage around the world like the famous Captain James Cook. James Cook, he is a different person, although the surname of the both the author and this person is same, but still they are quite different. They perfected their seafaring skills for 16 years. They got a professionally built boat, Wave Walker, to complete their sea voyage. In July 1976, the narrator, together with his wife and kids, Jonathan, 6 years old, and Suzanne, 7 years old, they started their journey from Plymouth, England. The first half of the journey was easy and comfortable, but the latter half proved to be very difficult. Facing all sorts of hazards, ultimately they were able to reach an island, Isle Amsterdam. Thus, all is well that ends well. Captain James Cook. He was a British explorer, navigator, cartographer, and captain in the British Royal Navy. And in this map, world map, the red route, as you can see, it was the path which was to be covered by the author Gordon James Cook. He started his journey from this point, this is Plymouth, and from this he had to reach at this ending point, this is Australia. Let's have a look at the characters of the story. The narrator, the author himself, who was the captain of the ship, of the boat, named as Wave Walker. Mary, wife of the narrator. Jonathan, 6-year-old son of the narrator. Suzanne, 7-year-old daughter of narrator. Larry Vigil, American crewman hired from Cape Town. Herb Ziegler, Swiss crewman hired from Cape Town. This is Wave Walker, the boat or the ship, which was 23-meter long, and its weight was 30 ton. It was wooden hulled beauty which was specially made by experts. Before moving further, we must be familiar with the different parts of the ship because in the story you will come across many nautical terms. So, let's know about the parts of a ship. Here in this picture, you can see two sails. One is bigger one and one is smaller one. Bigger one is known as mainsail and the smaller one it is known as jib, and both are of triangular shapes. And in the middle you can see a vertical pole, it is known as mast, and this horizontal pole it is known as boom. Cockpit, it is the room from where that ship or boat is controlled. The back part of the ship, this one it is known as stern, and just below the stern you can see this part, this is known as radar. Here the front part of the ship it is known as bow, and roof of the ship, the surface area, this area it is known as deck, and this base, this bottom of the ship it is known as hull, and this red portion it is known as keel. This is the part that is used to balance the ship in the water, and it is like the backbone of the ship. Now let's try to comprehend the story with the help of the main points. We are not afraid to die. It is a story of a dangerous undertaking of a family, the author's family. The narrator decided to imitate the round the world voyage made 200 years ago by Captain James Cook. The family faced many difficulties and overcame them with courage and patience. The strong gales and gigantic waves terrified them and shook their faith, but they didn't give up and reached an island in the vast sea safely. They started their journey in July 1976 from the place Plymouth, as we have discussed in introduction also. And the narrator or the author, he was accompanied by his wife Mary, 6-year-old son Jonathan, and 7-year-old daughter Suzanne. They had spent their leisure time for 16 years for learning seafaring skills. Their boat, Wave Walker, had been built professionally, and when they started their journey, the first phase of their journey, during which they covered 150,000 kilometers, it was quite pleasant. As they sailed down the west coast of Africa to Cape Town, and before heading east, the narrator took on two crewmen, American Larry Vigil and Swiss Herb Sigler, to help them tackle one of the world's toughest seas, the southern Indian Ocean. This shows the presence of mind of the narrator. Now, they encountered gales, strong winds on their second day out of Cape Town. Size of the waves was alarming. Why? Because it was as high as their main mast. On December 25, they celebrated Christmas Eve with the Christmas tree despite atrocious weather, bad weather. They also celebrated the New Year's Day, and they hoped the weather to be changed, but it didn't happen. This shows their optimism and courage to face the difficulties. On January 2, the waves were gigantic. They were sailing with only a small jib and were still making 8 knots. To slow down the boat, they dropped the storm jib, that small jib, and lashed a heavy mooring rope in a loop across the stern, the back part of the ship. They double lashed everything, went through their life raft skills, attached lifelines, donned oilskins and life jackets. The pictures of oilskins, life jackets, and life raft, all these pictures are shown in this slide. 6 p.m. onwards, the weather grew silent. Captain Cook considered it as an indication of the coming disaster. A gigantic wave uprose the ship. The size of the wave was twice of any ordinary wave. As the wave walker faced the wave, the deck was shook by explosion. A torrent of green and white water broke over the ship. His head smashed into the wheel. He was flown overboard and sank below the waves. As he approached his death, he lost his consciousness and thus felt peaceful. But fortunately, he was lucky enough. His head came out of water and he saw the wave walker nearly capsizing with horizontal mast. His lifeline jerked taut. He grabbed the guard rails and sailed through the air into the main boom of the ship. He was badly injured. His left ribs had cracked, mouth was filled with blood and broken teeth. Still, somehow, he found the wheel and lined up the stern for the next wave. Water had been filled everywhere in the ship. The front hatch was thrown open. Mary, his wife, took to the wheel as the narrator went scrambling for the hatch. Larry and Herb, the crewman, they were pumping water like madmen. The whole starboard side bulged inwards. The particulars, including clothes, crockery, charts, etc., sloshed in deep water. They were splashing in the water, they were floating in the water. The narrator went to the children's cabin to confirm about their well being. Sue told him about a bumped head she had, as you can see in this slide also, this one. He didn't have time to worry about bumped heads then. He found a hammer, canvas, and screws to repair the broken starboard. Somehow, he managed to stretch the canvas and secure waterproof hatch covers across holes. The hand pumps had blocked due to debris floating about the cabins, and the electric pump short circuited. The narrator used another electric pump that was under the chart room floor and it did work. They constantly worked the radio but couldn't get any replies to their Mayday calls. Mayday calls means emergency calls. Sue showed more of her injuries to her parents. When asked for the reason for the delay in showing her injuries, she said that she didn't want to disturb her father while he was trying to save all of them, which shows her courage. Yes, students, during this video, we will just cover up to this point and what happened on January 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. All these things we will read in second video. Thank you. Thank you so much.